Well, hello everyone. It is Saturday afternoon here. It's about 1 o'clock here on Saturday, April 13th. Wanted to get on, do an update video that looks at the likely chance that we're going to see some pretty significant severe weather for our Monday. So that would be tax day, April 15th, here coming up in about 48 hours from now. And so what we have here, this is the Storm Prediction Center, their day 3 outlook. And so here across the Southern Plains, we can see where the main risk area is going to be. So we do have this level 2 out of 5 yellow slight risk, really from areas from around San Angelo, Texas, kind of western Dallas, Fort Worth, across much of Oklahoma, up into the eastern panhandles, as well as Kansas. And then we do have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk from areas from around Wichita Falls, eastern Texas panhandle, including Oklahoma City, Wichita, and almost to the Tulsa area. So what we're looking at is certainly a lot of severe weather for our Monday, although a lot of this, especially in this enhanced risk, it's likely going to be after dark. So that does create a little bit more of a dangerous situation for people. Little bit less ideal situation for storm chasers, for example. But we'll dive into that. We'll look at kind of what's going to cause this severe weather event on Monday, as well as what a model or two are showing for our forecast. So that's our outlook for Monday. Now, when we look at our satellite imagery here, this is our mid-level water vapor. So anywhere that we see these whitish and blue colors, that means that we have more moisture present. Anywhere that you see these yellows or even these orangish red colors, that's very, very dry air. And so what we can note here on our satellite, and again, this is currently what's happening both this morning and right now here on Saturday, you can see this spin right over California and off the coast here in the Pacific. So if you note that spin here, this is a big upper level trough low pressure system that is digging down into eventually the southwestern US. And so this is going to be our triggering event for our storm system on Monday. And what you can see is that out ahead of that, we've got a lot of this dry air that's coming out over the kind of tropical Pacific into the northern Mexico and the desert southwest. And so this is creating a lot of that dry air that's going to be in place. This is often an important ingredient for severe weather because as much as you need moisture at the low levels, you actually need drier air up above the surface to keep storms from forming everywhere. You want storms to form, but you just want them to be a little bit more isolated, especially for those higher end severe weather events. And so we do have that. We have not only our catalyst, which is our big trough and our low pressure system that's digging into the southwest over the next day or so, but we've also got that dry air that's going to be kind of piping in to our area of likely severe weather here, kind of across the southern plains region in about 48 to 60 hours from where we are right now. So that's a little bit of kind of what the atmosphere looks like right now. Let's look at our NAM, so our North American model, and let's look at a couple of the ingredients that are going to be in place for our Monday. So this is our 500 millibar wind map. So this looks at that jet stream level and our big trough. So we can see again, this would be Sunday afternoon. We've got our low pressure system here, kind of over California and Nevada. We've got some of that stronger wind flow here, kind of rounding the base of that trough and starting to move into the desert southwest. So, again, this is Sunday afternoon. Now, as we move forward in time here, let's continue to move forward. We get into our Monday, and by Monday, this would be Monday 4 p.m. We've got kind of our low pressure system and trough mainly right here. We've got our biggest flow kind of right in this area here. And so it's starting to move across the panhandles here and maybe into western Oklahoma. And then by our 7 p.m. kind of main severe weather time here, we've got that strongest flow kind of over the panhandles into maybe barely into Kansas and into western Oklahoma. And again, our main risk area is somewhere kind of right in here. And so we do have that strongest flow that is going to be moving into our area there. So that looks pretty favorable for severe weather. Again, that Monday afternoon into evening time period. So upper level on this model looks fairly decent here. Maybe a little bit of more of kind of what we would call a neutral to positive tilt, not quite what you want to see for significant severe weather, but definitely enough in place here for pretty decent weather, a significant severe weather and storms. When we look at our low level jet, those lower level winds that are important for severe weather, again, this is Monday, that same time period, especially across Kansas and maybe kind of western Oklahoma here. We do have some of those stronger winds, a little bit lacking here across kind of southwest Oklahoma and northwest Texas. So that might be something to watch. But again, we do have a pretty significant little low level system here. It's pulling those winds up. So that looks like, again, very sufficient for severe weather. Now, next thing that we always want to look at is our moisture. So, what we can see is if we back up in time here and we look at kind of where we stand right now, what you can see is not a lot of those darker green or any of those blue colors. Most of our 60-degree dew points are kind of here across the coast. They're actually a little bit further inland looking at surface observations, so maybe about like right here at max. But then what we can see is that here over the rest of our Saturday and into especially Sunday, we're going to start to see that moisture really, really pulled northward. And so this is by Sunday around, late morning. We've got our kind of 60-degree dew points already nosing up into southern Oklahoma here. And then as we move forward in time, some more into our Monday, that moisture is going to be in place. And so this would be by Monday at 4 p.m. We've got some pretty decent moisture, again, even mid to upper 60s dew points here across southwestern Oklahoma. And then we've got a decent, pretty stout dry line, pretty sharp here, really all the way from Nebraska, Kansas, western Oklahoma, eastern Texas panhandle down across West Texas. So that's going to be a trigger for that storm initiation for sure. And so when we see that in place, definitely that's an ingredient that kind of screams severe weather and lots of those storms kind of firing off of this dry line and then moving east into these 60s to mid 60s dew points. So by Monday afternoon, evening, moisture is not going to be an issue here. It doesn't appear, at least on the NAM model. So that's certainly something to keep watching, but does look like that won't be an issue. When we look at some of our instability here, we back it up a little bit, we can see that we are going to have instability that's in place, especially the NAM model here is kind of highlighting this southwest Oklahoma area. Does look like there's going to be relatively strong instability here, maybe eastern Texas panhandle, southwest Oklahoma by even Monday afternoon. So we may see some storms kind of fire off initially, kind of right there. So, all in all, when we look at the kind of the environment and what's going to be in place here, this is our supercell composite. And so this just kind of looks at where are all the ingredients maximized for the best chance of seeing those supercell thunderstorms. And so what we can see here, this is 7 p.m. on Monday evening, really all across kind of central to western Kansas, certainly western Oklahoma, eastern Texas panhandle, and northwest Texas. We have some pretty high values here, especially kind of almost a bullseye target here from kind of northwest Oklahoma into that south central Kansas area where there is a little bit of a dry line bulge here. That does appear to be kind of that highlighted area for those maximum parameters currently. So, does look like we're going to see significant severe storms on our Monday afternoon, evening, and then also into the overnight hours. So, if you live anywhere in the Central Plains here, from really southern Nebraska, especially Kansas, Oklahoma, North Texas, definitely keep an eye out on this. And we're still a little bit far out for knowing the fine tuned timing of when storms will be, where storms may form. Those specifics, we're still a little bit far out. By tomorrow, we'll have a lot better idea of that. But this gives us a general consensus. Does look like Monday could be a significant severe weather day. So plan accordingly as you kind of think about the start of your work week here. And definitely, I'll probably likely do another update video here tomorrow once we have a little bit better understanding of the details. So hope everybody has a good rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you back for the next video.